Have you ever been so upset about your record sales doing poorly that you raised a demon from the underworld? No? Rock and Roll is a 1983 sci-fi animated movie that takes place in a post-apocalyptic United States. This movie was mostly centered around music and features performers we all know and love like Cheap Trick, Debbie Harry, Lou Reed, Iggy Pop, and our very favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire. Unlike Cruella, this movie is basically based around the music that was made specifically for it, and it's pretty bangin'. I will also say that this movie was the only thing that got me through my first semester of college, and it shows. We open on a pretty baller title card, and then we hear from a narrator that the war was over and that the only survivors are dogs, cats, and rats. I guess the pig we see later is a scientific enigma, but you know, don't look too hard at it. From the survivors, a new race of mutants evolved over the years. Then, rather than showing us that story, the narrator now tells us that Mock, a legendary super rocker, has retired to his hometown called Ohmtown. Real creative. Where his computers decipher an ancient code. What's up with movies from 1983 having the word ancient be such a buzzword? The narrator tells us that Mock has become obsessed with his dark experiment, and that he needs one last crucial element.
Very special voice.
It's funny because I've seen this movie so many times, but I never realized how crack-fueled this opener is, and we never see the narrator again. I think the point would have been pretty apparent had they just, you know, cut it out and shown it to us, and that's a running theme in this movie. You know, the point would have been clearer had things just been left out or shown to us. But this movie isn't about making sense, it's about the journey, and curing 18-year-olds from depression. Are you another 18-year-old suffering with severe to mild depression? Do you at times feel overwhelmed and like you can't handle the stress of daily life? Try Rock and Rule, a cheap and easy alternative to all those pesky doctor's visits and pharmacy runs. Clinical studies show that Rock and Roll will benefit 9 in 10 patients who try it for longer than 1 day. Results will show almost immediately as you try your first Rock and Rule. Your sadness and woes will do anything but loom over you. Rock and Rule is perfect to fix all your sadness. Rock and Rule is not an alternative to actual medicine, but actually a movie. If you stop taking your medicine and opt to just watch this movie, you will feel better, but not for long. Rock and Rule will cause severe adverse effects if you are pregnant, don't like rock music, allergic to peanut butter, or think animation is for children. Call your doctor before watching Rock and Rule because I think he'd want to watch this whole movie too. So give Rock and Rule a try. It'll help turn that frown upside down. So then we see the mysterious house of Mock, where his employees are unpacking his things and commenting on the fact that it's nice to be home at last. But Mock hears about one more show in town where he might find his, what is it again?
Very special voice.
Ah, thanks, movie. I love the way this scene is played out with all the shadows on the wall and the dialogue between the employees. I tend to be a huge sucker for over-the-top imagery and animation, and oh boy, does this movie have an absolute chokehold on me. We watch as Mock talks to his computer, being pretty visceral about the fact that his record sales are plummeting. With news that his music sales aren't going so well, he turns to his computer for answers about his Armageddon key, which I think is the ancient code / dark experiment the narrator was telling us about. The computer tells Mock that he still needs a living person to sing the frequencies that he needs.
That one voice will bring me a powerful being from another dimension.
That was very informative. Thanks, Mock. So Mock then makes his way to the talent club, telling us that the key will unlock an unforgettable magic show for the masses. Here, I should mention that yes, I have seen this movie a lot, but this was the very first time I'm just noticing that magic is a legitimate part of the story. I always just thought that Mock did stage tricks and called it magic, but I guess not. But also, can no one else do magic in this universe? Because, like, if Mock is so worried that his record sales are plummeting, can he just, like, magic up some sales? I'm not a doctor in magic, but I think he could just use his established magic to just fix his issues. Or, you know, make his voice the voice frequency that he needs to raise his demon, right? At the Talent Club, we are finally introduced to the rest of our main cast of characters: Angel, Omar, Dizzy, and Stretch. And within seconds, we know exactly what these characters are all about just by watching them interact with each other and from their kinda crappy character designs. Yeah, I said it. Have you tried drawing these guys? It's literally freaking impossible. Angel is a steady but determined woman. Omar is our resident hothead love interest ass. Stretch is an over-anxious but well-meaning band member, and Dizzy is our last band member who is responsible and caring. The mom of the group who gives the rest of the characters the push they all need to make the right decisions in life. Already within this, 10-second clip, we see the personalities of our cast on full display with gorgeous animation to help us understand the story. That being said, there is no more elaboration on these little guys other than what is surface level, and it kinda sucks because this movie has the potential to do so much more than it is done with our protagonists. Mylar, the club owner, introduces the main band, and then they play the most epic rock song, performed by Cheap Trick. To a mostly empty club. If you didn't already know what Omar was all about, this song perfectly encapsulates his high, angry energy. The animation of this sequence is also just so damn pretty. We also watch as Omar's high energy is almost contagious. While he lets loose on stage, Stretch also comes out of his shell and follows Omar's lead. This is one of my favorite songs in the entire movie, could you tell? Mylar cuts the song short, telling the band that they're not good, and our resident hothead Omar makes vague threats towards Mylar, and Mylar agrees to let the band finish their song. Omar tells the band to play the same song, breaking his earlier promise to Angel that they would play one of her songs as well. Omar doesn't listen, and as the curtains draw, he starts to play his song again. You know, the one that didn't work the first time, so why bother trying it again? Angel then takes center stage playing her song, and the band then follows, showing the definite power struggle between the pair. Omar is not happy by Angel publicly embarrassing him and leaves the stage, leaving Angel to sing her little heart out in the most heavenly light the animation team could create.
Loving these lights, you guys. I am glowing like an angel over here.
While Angel is singing, Mylar notices the world's famous Mock in his club and tries to talk to him. Mock, still shrouded in darkness, does not respond to Mylar, rather focusing his attention towards the ring he's wearing that's beginning to signal to Mock that Angel's voice is the one he's been searching for all along. If you've ever heard Debbie Harry's song Maybe For Sure, it's actually based off the song she sings in this movie. Seeing Mock so positively listening to Angel, Mylar then goes to talk to the band, only finding Dizzy and Stretch. He tells them that Mock the Magic Man loved their show, and Mylar now wants to work with the band, seeing a chance to make a quick buck.
Which one's your lead singer?
Omar. Angel. Angel.
Omar. A duo?
This is the perfect place to show the power struggle between Angel and Omar. Power is a reoccurring struggle the movie plays around with, and it's really interesting to see how the film tries to portray that within itself. It just sucks that it wasn't revised and worked on a little bit more. Omar overhears this while he's sulking outside and leaves to go find Angel. Something I also want to point out is that depending on where you watch this film, there are and aren't certain cutscenes and reactions in each version. And you know why? It's because the studio has a Canadian and an American version. The Canadian version features a different voice actor for Omar that is definitely better and delivers his lines a little less abrupt and angrily. And from the different versions I've seen on the internet, I'm pretty sure there are two versions of each, one shorter and one longer. Though I guess this could just be the internet versions just being crappy and leaving some things out. I do have a master copy on Laserdisc, but I don't have a Laserdisc player, so I can't actually watch it. It does make for a new watch through a lot of the time, though. Like, I've been watching this movie for the past 5 years, and literally every time I watch it, there's something new that I never noticed before. So now we see Dizzy and Stretch trying to talk to Omar about working together with Angel, since she's clearly talented enough to get the attention of stars like Mock. We get a bunch of over-the-top imagery and dialogue from the band about how Mock is everywhere and that they shouldn't say anything bad about Mock, and it's purely for the audience. Thanks, movie. Omar leaves them to go apologize to Angel for being a raging rock and roll dick. But rather than actually apologize, he just tells her that she played well and that things got a little weird. He tells her that he wants it all now or something, and this works to get back in Angel's good graces. It works so well, in fact, that they go to do some extracurricular activities together. Here we find out that Mock had sent one of his employees to stalk them and invite them to go to his house for a chat. Omar doesn't seem to want to do this because he's getting a little jealous of Angel being in the spotlight rather than him. How did Rock and Rule make a better character dynamic between love interests than Cruella did? That's not me saying Rock and Rule is good, I'm just saying they did it better. Here we meet the employees of Mock as well as being formally introduced to our main villain. Look at how great this entrance is.
Anyone want a beer?
How can you hate this? How can you hate this? Look at Mock's lips. It looks like there is an entire team of animators whose only task was having to animate Mock's lips. They look so kissable.
Then on stage.
Better get some antiseptic on that before it festers.
Mock starts to give Angel attention and basically ignores the rest of the group. Omar's just basically a pain to everyone, being cruel to Angel, a jerk to Mock in his own home, so you know, Mock offers the rest of the group these glowing orbs called Edison balls, and I'm pretty sure it's just drugs. Meanwhile, Mock takes Angel away so that the adults can talk, and he tries to convince her to ditch the band and work with him. He goes on a rant about how his magic is underappreciated, and he tells her about how his last concert wasn't sold out, but he has a way to show everyone how great he is. I really have no idea how I didn't accept the fact that magic genuinely exists in this universe. Actually, you know why? You know why? It's because this is supposed to be set in our world, just a little bit in the future. And the last I checked, magic doesn't exist. Angel refuses to sign the contract with Mock. Getting upset by this, Mock rather just chooses to roofie Angel and kidnap her. Mock and his employees kick the rest of the drugged out band out of their house, and they take off for Nuke, York. Realizing that Mock has taken Angel without her saying goodbye, Dizzy tells the gang that there must be something wrong and that they need to go and rescue her in Nuke, York. Omar says no because he thinks Angel did it on purpose, but later changes his mind, saying Angel owes them a personal explanation.
Well, it ain't that easy. She owes me a...
Owes you?
I mean, us. A personal explanation.
Dick. The trio steal a police car and take off after Angel and Mock to Nuke, York. No one comes after the police car, by the way, because the law doesn't do anything in this movie. Hey, just like the law in real life. The gang make it to Nuke, York and try to sneak into the city, but are caught and arrested. It's funny because we see the city is all desolate and dirty, but like, that's just how New York looks in real life. We cut back to Angel, who is now trying to get away from Mock and his employees. She's unsuccessful, but she meets the sister of one of the employees. They're all related, but it's pretty obvious. Cinderella. She tells Angel that she's going out to a dance club, and Angel lies, telling her she's one of Mock's lady friends, so that Cinderella will show her how to get out of the building they're staying in.
By the way, doll, who are you? Mock's new lady friend? Mock's new lady friend? Yeah. I guess so, but
The energy Cinderella brings is so bouncy, and I would normally dislike a character like Cinderella, but she's genuinely very charming. Among other things.
let's go for it!
While the pair is crawling around in the ducks, Angel comes across the room Mock is in. Here we see that Mock is finding out how she needs to sing, specifically to be able to unleash the demon from the underworld. Mock is so excited in this scene, it can only be described as orgasmic.
Stop me.
Look at that! Look at that! You're gonna tell me? You're gonna sit there and tell me that I'm wrong? The computer then warns Mock that there is a way he can be stopped, but luckily there is no one.
Shay, Mock, you can be stopped. There is a force which can send the being back.
Send it back? What? Where? Who?
The being can be sent back by the magic of one voice one heart, one song.
Magic? Magic, magic. One voice, one heart, one song. Gibberish garbage. Who is this person?
Individual's identity presently unavailable.
Cinderella and Angel get out of the building and head down to the club. Meanwhile, we're back with the rest of the gang and a new woman, Dizzy's aunt, working on a tattoo for a customer. She basically reiterates what we've already seen, and then she asks why they did it in the first place. Upon finding out that Omar thinks Angel owes them an explanation, she brutally tells Omar that he's being a jealous ass.
For what? Because she ran off with Muck without saying goodbye? Because he's a big star and you guys are just wishing?
Omar changes his answer, telling her that they're concerned for Angel. So now Dizzy's aunt tells them to go look for Cinderella, telling the gang that if they find her, she could possibly lead them back to where Angel is being kept, since Cinderella is related to Mock's other employees. She tells them that they can find her at a club uptown, and that they'll know who she is by her tattoo. Low-key, how come this movie makes, like, pretty enticing woman characters, except for our main girl, Angel? Like, Dizzy's aunt is down to earth and tells you the truth without sparing your feelings, and Cinderella is a girl wanting to escape the world around her by rebelling against her family and doing things they would disapprove of. And Angel cares about her friends? Like, she accepts Omar's terrible behavior without him doing anything in return or making any effort to be a better person. You could argue that she's willfully defiant against Mock, but he kidnapped her and wants her to participate in rituals that would result in mass hysteria and death because he didn't sell enough records. Of course she would be defiant against Mock. I'm a lot more defiant for a lot less. And then the movie just gets rid of the only two compelling female characters and we literally never hear from them again, even though one of them is related to 3 somewhat main side characters. The man she was tattooing leaves and goes to tip off the brothers about what our protagonist's plans are.
To prove it, I got some scuttlebutt for you. Now, you set your sails for this joint downtown, Club 666. Now there's 3 guys from hometown gonna drop anchor there with a cargo of trouble. They're looking for your little sister. Oh, now we're even, right? So get off my back. Oh, shit.
Then we see the only pig who survived the nuclear fallout. Hey, I thought it was only dogs, cats, and rats that survived. You lied to me, movie. Now that everyone is at the dance club, the search commences. Unfortunately, though, because the brothers have been tipped off that Angel and Cinderella are there, they are able to get to the pair before our protagonist can. Omar follows them out into the street and comes across what he believes to be Angel and Mock in an abandoned building. He thinks the two of them are now dating and screams himself into passing out.
Omar! What a pleasant and unexpected surprise.
Hi, Big O. How's it going?
Perhaps we should invite Omar up for a spell.
But it wasn't Angel, just a girl in a mask, making Mock feel just a little bit more villainous. Angel now knows, somehow, that the band are in Nuke, York, and that Mock is doing something to them. And Mock shows her where they're being kept, and I think tortured, but I'm not really sure, and tells her that he'll stop if Angel sings in the big Nuke, York concert. So in order to protect her friends, Angel agrees to Mock's demands, and he sends them all home. Not before lobotomizing them, though.
Omar? Stretch! Dizzy?
How are you boys doing?
How are we doing what, Mr. Mock?
Bon voyage, bon voyage.
Look! What have you done to them?
Bon voyage.
Airheads. Omar, I promise I'll get you out of this.
I know, Angel. It would have been swell to work on a song together. But, well, you're working with the best now.
Omar, Mock is making me sing.
I understand. Whee!
Mock, change them back.
Now, I let them go for you.
Omar.
So now we get to the most disappointing part of the movie for me. I didn't realize until I rewatched the movie a second time that there's an entire failed concert we never see. Mock was supposed to do his magic and raise the demon from the Underworld concert at Carnegie Hall in Nuke, York, but there wasn't enough power, so the concert exploded. And the only imagery we get of this is like 5 seconds of reused animation where we figure this out, and I'm freaking stupid, so I didn't know. We get some aftermath news footage where the movie tells us what happened.
KIX Morning News Update. Mock's promise to rewrite rock history was prematurely and tragically interrupted last night when an overwhelming power surge totally destroyed Carnegie Hall and blacked out the entire city. Survivors describe the destruction as evil, spooky, and wow, bad karma man. Our cameras are on the scene.
Sensational, and it smelled just like clean food, and all it made me do was want to like wax the floor. So like, can someone tell me like, is this concert for real or is it just another ripoff?
I don't know about this, Jake. Nobody seems to be buying these I Survived the Mock concert t-shirts.
And finally, our roving reporter, the late bit.
And that's it! That's literally... I might be a little movie illiterate as well as regular illiterate, but I didn't know until I rewatched it a second time. And not in the, oh, how cool, I never noticed this little inconsequential detail before way. In the, how did the director think this was understandable way? Mock is pretty upset that his plan didn't work out, and the reason his plan didn't work out was because he needed more power, leading Mock to go back to ohmTown because ohmTown is well known for its power plant that can sufficiently help the being be risen from the underground, which brings up 2 things in this movie. 1, why didn't the computer tell him that in the first place? And 2, you mean to tell me the entire movie after we leave for Nuke, York is completely irrelevant? Look, I said I liked this movie. I never said it was like good or anything. I like it the way people like Neil Breen movies. Angel, a little freaked out by the failed concert, tries to convince Mock to, rather, go away with her and not go through with the concert. But Mock doesn't like this idea and goes on a tirade against Angel for not wanting to sing at the concert.
She can sing or she can scream. But she still pissed me off.
I think Mock is supposed to juxtapose Omar and his entitlement and rage and ego to show us the road that Omar will go down if he doesn't fix his attitude. That being said, the movie doesn't do too great of a job at showing us this, and I just might be looking a little bit too hard into it. This is where we finally see the epic rock showdown with Mock magically making Angel sing as she's tied to the motherboard. That doesn't look like a motherboard. What do I know? I don't know what a motherboard looks like, and neither does the movie. There's a power surge that unlobotomizes the gang, and then they discover that Angel is back in ohmTown, and they need to go and rescue her. Omar, again, doesn't want to rescue her, but Dizzy tells him to follow his heart, and then the gang go to rescue her. All the while, the concert has been able to successfully raise the demon in the most animated scene possible. The demon then starts to eat a bunch of people and cause general chaos, and one of the brothers ends up sacrificing himself in order to save Angel and Omar from the nightmarish beasts. And then we watch his brother get enraged and directs his vengeance toward Mock. Meanwhile, Mock is delightedly giggling at the chaos erupting around him. Angel decides that she needs to sing in order to put the demon back where it came from. This doesn't work until Omar gets up and sings with her in one of my favorite songs of the movie. as they're singing, the demon then starts to get sucked back into the portal it came from. Mock frantically starts to try and keep the demon here, but then is thrown into the portal as well. As he's about to get sucked in, he comes to the realization that with the power of both voices, the demon was able to get put back into the portal. Remember, because there is no one. Yeah, I don't know if I gave that away when I said it, but yeah, it's just because there's two voices instead of one. And then the movie ends as Angel and Omar sing us out with their lovely duetted singing voices. Listen. This movie is clearly full of illogical actions, bizarre timing, and character flaws that never get addressed or fixed. But, unlike a lot of other movies where the nonsensical nature irates me, Rock and Rule is charming to me. It doesn't expect anything from its audience, and you can really see the passion and enjoyment from this film as you're watching it. While I love this movie, I've come to the conclusion that I might look a little too deep at it for meaning. With the character dynamics, I'm sure it's basically all just surface level, but people tend to come up with stories and ideas about the meaning there is to be found in the media they consume. So we fill the gaps. And oh boy, are there gaps in this movie. But I like being a film snob, and what fun is there if I can't look for deeper meaning in the things I love? I will say our main cast of characters really needs some work. While watching this movie through a somewhat critical lens, it seems like the script didn't have too many rewrites, and looking over the plot and script before going into production is the most important part of an animated movie in my opinion. Angel and Omar's relationship definitely needed work. Showing them as a couple that really cares for each other and wants the best for each other could have really helped in understanding their actions towards each other, as well as helping to flesh out their characters a little bit more. That being said, Mock is my favorite character out of the entire movie. I personally am a huge fan of villains being evil for stupid reasons, and Mock wanting to raise a demon from the underworld because his records didn't sell enough copies is the most hilarious and over-the-top evil scheme I think I've ever heard. I love this movie so much. It holds a really special place in my heart. I am a huge fan of animation and I adore how this movie looks, and I have become a hunter-gatherer for old animation like this, so if you have any recommendations, give them to me. I recommend giving it a watch through if you have the chance, because it is free on YouTube. Just watch the Canadian version. And if you want to listen to the soundtrack, this YouTuber remastered everything, and it is by far the best playlist on YouTube of this movie. And with that conclusion to March Movie Madness, I want to thank you all so much for listening and watching along. I hope you enjoyed my movie reviews as well as my nonsensical ramblings about movies you might not have heard about. If you liked this week-long full of content from me, be sure to let me know and share out your favorite review with a friend so I can hopefully do this again next March. Thank you again for watching, and be sure to stick around for more content from me soon.